Yo, what's good? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room yet again, always with another one. And yes, indeed, it is another one out here. So we have a situation that's came about. Listen, look. Um, Apparently, in a school somewhere out there in America, there was a fight that went on between a white male and a black young lady. Now, of course, I didn't dive too deep. I just, it came across my time, and I peeped it out, and I, dove just a little bit more just to figure out some things. So I got a couple of angles here, and yeah, we're about to dive off into this and check this out and see what's actually going on. Will racism come into play, or what's going on and the factors here? Listen, look, let's go here now. Let's put these quarters, nickels, and dimes in on the times.
On November 15th, a black sophomore named Breonna Brown was the target of a racial slur and physical attack by another student at Shawnee Mission East in Kansas. Brown had confronted a separate student about using racial slurs, and moments later, a white male student told her to shut the F up and proceeded to yell more racial slurs at her.
Walk away. Don't say nothing unless you're gonna come say it to my face, because I'm not
Fair use, by the way, fair use.
Oh, who said that?
Me. What? What, nigga? What? I'll fuck.
Hold on. Okay, so fair use for this, by the way, fair use out there. I'm screaming that very loud. Listen, look, okay. We know how things been going in this country, especially as black people, even white people know. We know what's been happening here. So yeah, he clearly said it now. He said it. It was clear as day. Y'all heard it. Hey, listen, look now. Now, how this popped off previously, we have the cut here, but it just doesn't show the whole super, maybe from the beginning, or this was the beginning, who knows? But yeah, it popped off very fast. Here we go. Let's keep going.
You swung first. What you calling it?
Woo! Stop it.
You dish-eyed fool.
Okay, so yes, of course, she repeated the fact that he actually, threw that information out there as far as the N-word and things like that. Yeah, this is very tension. This is a lot of tension right here. I don't know what's going on in this particular school right here in Kansas. Obviously, it's in like they said, it's in Kansas City. Um, I don't know what's going on in this particular school, but obviously there is racial tension in this particular school, even if it's just this one incident or there's tension there. There's an underlying uh, there's an underlying wave of negative attentive here. Jesus, let's keep going, okay?
Who the fuck are you calling a nigga? We not even talking to you, bitch. Oh, I'm calm down.
The alter
Now she is aggressive too. Let's just keep that real too. At the end of the day, she is aggressive too. So we can't just, deny that fact as well. Now, I'm not saying that she was all the way in the wrong because of the way that the words were being thrown around, okay? But she's aggressive too.
altercation led to a physical fight that left Brown with a broken nose and suspended from school. Brown sat down with KSHB to describe the ordeal.
Either I protect myself or I run away from it, or I get beat up and I don't know what else to do.
Now, hold on here. from the footage that we've just seen, from things that we just saw, she was actually walking off from him. They was at a distance. They was at a real distance. Now, her getting beat up and things like that, I didn't see that at first. Okay. They were walking away from each other. He said some words, she said some words. Okay. Now, what happened was, yes, at the end of the day, the typical situation in fuck it. I'm just gonna say it. This is the deal. This is the deal right here now. Okay. White privilege does come into play. Okay. We just got to be honest about this. Now that this young black lady was actually, talking back and saying words and stuff like that, the white young boy, he wanted her to shut the fuck up, basically. You know what I'm saying? You have to think about the mindset. I'm just being real with this shit here. You know what I'm saying? It's no sugarcoating right now. This is how it went down. He wanted her to shut the fuck up. Like he told her, shut the fuck up. Hey. Regardless of the levels of society, white privilege does come into play in this country. We it just is what it is. And so they got into it. She ended up broken nose, things like that. Okay, let's keep going.
So I chose to stand up for myself.
It really hurt my heart and made me mad. It hurt my heart for my daughter because I didn't want her to ever have to go.
Shawnee Mission East students organized a walkout protest demanding justice for their classmate and expressing their frustrations with the district's handling of the incident.
Well, at least we see that, all of them are not standing for what that young man did, which of course, I believe that, at the end of the day, all of the students was not going to stand for what that young man had pulled in that factor. Yeah, it was definitely crazy. He did push the button. Like, seriously, he really did.
The Shawnee Mission School District provided a statement saying that they take proactive measures to create a safe educational environment for all students and that they respond to mistakes made by students in an equitable and consistent manner. And for more news, follow the Black Star Network.
Okay, out here. Okay. Let's go ahead on and dive off into the second part that I want to show you guys about this particular situation right here. And we're going to go to the TYT, which is the Young Turk Network. I guess it's the black side of Young Turk Network because the other side. Okay, that's a whole nother topic. But anyway, though, okay, let's go here now. Let's check this out.
It's an update. The attacker of a black teen girl to spend 18 months in juvie. What took so long? And let's see the details. It's an update to a shocking youth hate crime we've covered as it unfolded. 15-year-old male student in Kansas will serve 18 months in juvenile custody for his attack of a black student. Only after outcry.
With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show.
Let's give you the recap, though. Again, it's a story we heavily covered here. Great interest on Indisputable, Dr. Ritchie. To recap, the two sophomores had a tense altercation captured on video when the male student, now identified as Nicholas Rosalie, rushed down the hall screaming, "What?"
Okay, I'm shocked at the same time though too. They don't normally give away, especially when it's white men. Especially with the white boys, they don't too much give away the name like that. So okay, yeah, this is okay. Let's keep going. Wow.
N-word, what? Before he violently punched Bree, the black student, who responded with a right hook to his face. According to the Kansas City Defender, the black student suffered a broken nose, had to go to the hospital for treatment. White student suffered a concussion and an eye injury. Both students were suspended from school. Both sides again. The community believed racism was at the center of the incident, particularly since right before the fight, as the Kansas City Defender reported, the black student was involved in another exchange with a white female student about her calling black students slaves. Is there any learning going on here?
Okay, so that whole school, well, maybe not the whole school, but there, hey, like I said earlier, there's a lot of underlying racial tension there, seems like.
Now,
Okay.
what the French toast is there to think about?
Jeez, okay, so she was in an altercation with a Caucasian female student about racial situations and things like that just previously before she got in the altercation with the white boy right here. So yeah, man, okay. Wow. So yeah, that whole school has a serious issue and things like that. That it was Kansas City. Yeah, that whole school got an issue. Hold on here.
Or some kind of discriminatory trade school. I don't understand what is going on in these hallways, but I do understand how you check it and you rid the place of it. And I don't think it's that hard. Rosalie pleaded guilty to aggravated battery causing great bodily harm last month in juvenile court. He will not face any charges for hate crime.
Okay. So he will not be facing any hate crime charges and things like that. But clearly, though, words were said here that technically would involve a preamble to a what we would consider a hate crime. Okay. Jesus. All right. So he won't be facing any charges. All right.
Isn't that what's at the root of it? What is a hate crime? Somebody tell me what a hate crime is. Student's father, while condemning his son's actions and words, has maintained his son fought to protect other students. That's not true, Dad. That's a lie. You may not want to face everything, but it's best you do. And if you can't face it, I don't know why you're making these public statements. They're false. The N-word is ugly, hateful, mean, and disrespectful. I'm upset my son hit a girl. That's one. But two, I was mad that he opened his mouth or anything of that sort because he should just wait and get a teacher.
Okay. One thing here. Obviously, these are the words of the father and things like that. He had to learn that shit from somewhere.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
And any grown adult out there under the sound of my voice, we know how we learn growing up. We learn things from the home. Everything starts in the home. That's the reason why we're having all these debates and discussions about, children growing up in fatherless homes nowadays, things like that. Everything starts in the home. So he had to learn this type of mindset in the home somewhere. Technically, these are still children in school that, are bringing things from home to school. So he had to learn that type of thought process from somewhere.
So your son is some kind of modern day Robin Hood or do-gooder, and his only crime was taking matters into his own hands, protecting other students against this really violent black girl. She was the aggressor? No involved parties have made any new public comment. Mayor, I don't know why we can't. Not we.
Now I would like to go back and say what I said earlier. Yes, she was aggressive too. I didn't say that she was the aggressor, but she was aggressive too. You know what I'm saying? And I understand it. Nowadays, definitely how black women are raised and things like that. Most black women can be aggressive at times and things like that. So yeah, but I get it in this particular situation, especially after he threw the slur out there. Yeah, it kind of is what it is on that point.
There's a segment of people in America who cannot face the truth. And I don't know why that is. Because as a Black person, first within my own family, others in the community, elders, I've always been able to face a hard, difficult, ugly truth. Why can't we just face the truth and do better here? What is this father? I get you love your son. But what is he talking about?
Yeah, listen, I mean, this his response, the father's response, first of all, because he's an adult in the situation, was nothing but a continuation of making his son the victim for something his son created and did. The story said his son ran down the hall yelling the N-word. That means you chased after her. Immediately, you are the aggressor. Next, we'll talk about how the world talks about this story, right? He's a student. He's a teenage boy. He's a child. He's going to juvie. If he was black, he'd be a thug, a criminal. His mugshot would be everywhere, and he would be demonized and tried as an adult. Those things would be our truth if the situation was reversed. Lastly, the fact that everybody was suspended in this story is the very reason people, and that last story is so important. Without policies to protect DEI, we lose it. The school systems are losing being able to teach true history. Now we got white kids running down the hallway screaming the N-word like it's a new song and then hitting people with it. That is the definition of hate crime, by the way you ask. Violence because of prejudice. Those two things are the definition of hate crime, and it happened. The real sad part about this story is this child, the woman who suffered this young lady who suffered this, will be a part of this story for the rest of her life.
Yep.
Knowing the trauma that it induced, not just the physical pain, but the trauma associated with someone reminding her that white people have no rights. And these are the rights. This is who this kid was talking about. His kid's father. He said his son was protecting other students. I'll correct that statement for him. His son was protecting other and all white students who believe that black people have no right, that white folk are obligated to respect.
Oh, wow. Hold on here. Hold on here.
God, you can't make this shit up.
So yeah, out there in Kansas City, they're still fighting fights out there. They're still fighting fights. Listen, look, hey, Jesus, man. Yeah, like I said before, he had to learn that type of thought process from somewhere. And, whether it be with his other friends at school or at home in their pocket of community, he had to learn it from somewhere.
Yep. I just.
And in that way, his son is being traditionally American.
Yeah. The statement, if you're going to make any, should have been, I am saddened. I'm sorry on behalf of our family and my son. We have much work to do, period. If you're going to say anything, the Tulsa massacre was not a race riot. And I hear all the time still people, white Americans saying, reparations. I wasn't there. It's what I had nothing to do with slavery, but you're still benefiting from it. But never mind that. If you had nothing to do with it and you don't feel obligated to make amends for it, then what's so hard about telling the truth? And just why can't we just tell what happened in Tulsa and other places? Honestly, it doesn't fit, Mayor. It's hypocrisy. It's like you have to do this whole threading of a needle to end up someplace that still doesn't make sense, but it makes you stay comfortable.
Yeah, it's comfort, and then also this acknowledgement. The sickness of white supremacy is the acknowledgement. If we make Black people whole for what this country did and does to us, then we are obligated to feel less than. We have to give up something. Here's the problem with them and that idea, because people do say that often about, I wasn't there for reparations, this, that, and the third. But reparation is not just for slavery. Slavery is where it began. There are plenty of institutions that America needs to make Black people whole for. The entirety of Jim Crow. We need to be made whole for the injustice that still exists in our criminal justice system. We need to be made whole for the fact that young Black boys are over-sentenced and also over-represented in special ed, suspended and expelled from school.
Now, my also thought process on that need to be made whole. I get it, as a Black man too. But at the same time, though, too, we do in our community, we do need to clean up ourselves a lot more, especially our image. Our ladies are out here running fucking wild.
Crank me in the morning.
You ain't right, man.
Oh, I'm right. You'll see.
Yes. Our ladies are out here running wild. Our young men are out here running wild. We definitely need to clean up our image nowadays too, and also try to come together and start rebuilding ourselves. Listen, look, I get it that with the reparations and all that type of stuff, I understand that. Yes, things do need to be compensated for and also recorrected. But yes, we are losing ourselves in the community as well. And the only way that we're going to regain the respect is to, pull our community back together, get rid of the nonsense, shame the individuals that need to be shamed within our community, put them in their proper place as well. And the like-minded thinkers that are the progressive Black people in our community try to network together and do anything like that. I mean, that's the only way it's going to work. Now at the end of the day, will Black people do that shit? Hey, hey, who kind of is what it is on that shit. That guess is up in the damn air and shit.
Who need to be made whole, that Black women don't get the adequate health care and are more likely to die in death than anybody in this country. So if they're worried about reparations for slavery, tell them to keep that pushing. How are you going to pay us for the 100 years that followed that you made us hold in?
That's an excellent question that I doubt many are prepared to answer. We're going to go to break, but let me say this. For everyone out there who thinks, and I told this to my Black Republican friend, that, hey, racism only hurts us. Predominantly. Guess what, though? It hurts everybody. If this impressionable boy, who's now going to juvie, and I can't believe it escaped me that juvie versus, you're right, he was Black, he'd be sentenced as an adult. Racism hurts him too. If he had someone like you in his life, Mayor, who just told him the truth, he actually, unlike some of the adults who are perpetrating a fraud, he actually believes it. Isn't that sick? In 2023, he actually believes this. He actually believes it. If you think race, you're living in fear, you're afraid to share, you think other people are less than, you're not even reaching your maximum potential. Cancer's not cured, okay, because you're not giving enough people access and opportunity to the best education. Maybe cancer could have been cured if you would have let everybody have access. You're hurting yourselves too. That's what I told him. When I first uttered the statement, he said, how? How is it? Racism hurts everyone. Look what we're doing here. I could tell you our credit rating even went down because of racism. Wasn't that long ago. I'll give you the last word, Mayor, then we'll go to break.
Well, listen, look here. Yes. The thing of this is that while, racism does hurt everyone, at the same time, though, too, especially in the modern day, we know the fight that has already been fought in our community from generations past. We've also lost ourselves as Black people. We've lost our community, things like that. We don't have the proper structure, the solid foundation in the whole community to really start and keep combating these issues. And that's the point right there, we have to have the proper community, which is built of families, because families make communities, to keep fighting the good fight. And we've lost the community out here.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
So when situations like this pop up, yes, there are issues behind it. There's misunderstandings. There's also, at the same time, though, too, trying to figure things out, and we still having to fight the good fight. And that's what we're losing in the community, that we still have to fight the fight. But due to the fact that we don't have the community anymore or the foundation anymore to keep fighting the good fight, to keep building ourselves, to keep, going and trying to make ourselves better collectively, then yes, it's all for nothing. It's all for nothing. Seriously. Can't make that shit up, man. Can't make that shit up. Yo, but it is what it is, though, man. Hey, shout out to all my subscribers out there. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure that you ring that bell, that you'll be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.
We'll talk about that some other time.
No, I want to talk about it now. See,
Fred,
another reason
Fred, I said we'll talk about that some other time.
you don't tell me what I can talk about. You don't tell me what I can talk about in my own house.
Don't you point your finger at my nose, Fred Sanford.
I'll point my finger at your nose and I'll point my foot somewhere else.